So this might actually be the most honest video that you'll see about making money online out here. When I look on YouTube, everyone's selling the dream. They flash their Lambos, they talk about how much money they made and totally normalize 100K per month. But no one is really telling you the truth that actually matters. Even for me, I kind of want to get to 100K per month mark just because it's fun, it's kind of like a game. The truth is, you're probably not there yet. If you're watching these type of videos on YouTube, no one tells you about the actual truth about just even getting started. Like, no one ever tells you how I was like really struggling when I was 150K per year pharmacist down to zero, trying to rebuild a business online. And now, even if I make 3K per month, I'm living a six-figure lifestyle and living bigger than ever. Now, of course, I do have months where I make way more than 3K per month, especially in the world of high ticket sales. Like, it's not uncommon to make 3 to 4K per day. But you get the point. If you're kind of tired of all the BS that people are showing you online and want the real truth about what it takes just to get started and get your proof of concept of your first dollar online, then I cover it all. These are 6 most important things, so let's get into it. Okay, it's not about how much money you make, but how you make it. So I think online, there's like kind of like this measuring contest where everybody's trying to obsess over different revenue numbers. I make 30K per day, or I make 100K per month, or I make 10K per month. But I think a lot of times people are just missing the whole picture, because what you make as an e-commerce business revenue versus like a coaching business, they're all different profit margins too. I think rather than looking at the absolute number, it's more important to kind of realize what are the resources that it takes to make our money and how much of it do we actually keep. So I'll give an example, right? So back when I was a pharmacist, I was working 12 hours in the pharmacy, answering phones, helping patients, counting pills, dealing with insurance companies, managing people like homeless people in Hollywood who would take dumps on my floor, all while trying to hold my pee and skipping out on lunch breaks to edit YouTube videos like these in my pharmacy. Sometimes at night, I would just have these moments where I was like, oh my God, like, what the hell am I doing with my life? I spent like 7 years like studying for this, and I'm getting yelled at by random like people on the street just for trying to do my best, and it's still not enough, and corporate still understaffs me and all that. I was doing all this while shoving in and out in my mouth every single night. Fast forward to my life today, I'm here traveling all of Asia. Right now I'm in Vietnam. I do YouTube and high ticket sales. So in the morning, I'll usually go to BJJ during the day, hit the treadmill, chill in the sauna. I yap out YouTube ideas while I'm there. I'll go to a nice coffee shop like this place, just write out ideas, chill here, check in with my team. And at nighttime, I do sales calls, podcasts, or shoot YouTube videos. And in between all that time, I don't even have to cook. I just order meal prep to my gym so that I am not lazy, so that I actually go to the gym and not waste the food because I ordered it. So yeah, it's pretty nice. And I think the crazy part about this is like my overall expenses, including my business expenses, is 3K per month. And it gives me a better lifestyle than my 150K per year pharmacy job did in the States. And so I think an important thing to consider is how we make our money and the lifestyle that we kind of want that aligns to that business model. The important thing is to understand like the ideal lifestyle that we want. If we don't know what we want, we have to invert this common thing used by Charlie Munger, where he talks about immersion thinking, about like the anti-vision. So what are the things that we hate, and we reverse the engineer the things that we love from it. So for example, let's say if I hate meetings and I hate talking to people, chances are I probably don't want to do high ticket sales. As lucrative as it is, it's not a way that I want to make my money. Or if I hate numbers and tracking numbers and spreadsheets and stuff, chances are I probably should not do e-commerce. So we want to try to find a business model that aligns to it. There's a kind of boring book. It's called The Personal MBA, and it has all the different business models out there that I thought was very, very helpful when I was first starting. There's a lot of different videos out there. Personally, I like service-based businesses because they don't require a lot of capital. You learn a lot of skills. But this leads me into my next point that I have. Go self-employed first. When I was a pharmacist, like I used to kind of like look at different business models like e-commerce, where I would flip stuff like at scale pretty much. That's what e-commerce is, right? You have a product, you run some traffic traffic to it, people buy off your website, and there you go. This always kind of scared the crap out of me because maybe I was a pharmacist and I'm risk averse anyways, but I always had to front up a lot of capital and I didn't have that many skills at the time. And the same thing goes for like a lot of real estate. People will start doing fix and flips, they'll lose money because there's a lot of ignorance tax to it that they're just not aware about. And so if you're a 9-to-5er, most likely you're probably risk averse like myself. You probably don't want to lose a lot of money at first because it's really discouraging doing that. And I think the problem is that most people go into high risk business models like e-commerce or fix and flips or whatever and lose a lot of money. And sure, can you make a lot of money from it? Yeah, but you're also taking on a lot more risk. I think the best quote out there is by Peter Drucker, and he says all profits derive from risk. If you make it flipping houses or doing real estate off your first business model, like all props to you. But I think the easiest low-hanging fruit, the easiest bridge from a 9-to-5 to full like kind of entrepreneurship is going self-employed, getting a contractor role, where you get paid for certain deliverables or for a certain service. And what a lot of people don't realize is if you're a contractor, you're technically a business. You are a sole proprietor, and what you get from it is actually really cool stuff. Like one, you get business write-offs, so you can learn how to write off your taxes. Two, you get to see how like organizations or businesses work. You can actually see what business models you like through getting contracts and being like, hey, let's work at an e-commerce brand. Do I like running ads? Do I like working like in this environment? What don't I like? It allows you to test different business models like pretty risk-free without investing any money, and you don't have to have a course or anything like that either. You can develop a lot of tangential skills. So over the years, I've done YouTube, I've learned copy, I've learned sales, obviously, right? And so you can develop these tangential skills that will help you for any business model that you do in the future, because you'll have to negotiate for e-commerce or anything like that. And then also, the cool thing about contract work is that you can keep cash flow while building, right? It's more predictable cash flow than something like e-commerce and trying to sell your own product the first time. And so the way I would think about it is like, you don't have to quit your job overnight. Really, there's a concept in Rich Dad Poor Dad, even though he's kind of scammy, but it's really smart. It's his quadrant, right? The 4 quadrants, ESBI. There's employed, self-employed, business, and then investor. And so you can look at like adding this to your portfolio. So if you have a 9-to-5, you can actually keep your 9-to-5 job, take on a contract, and now you're building that S quadrant out, and then eventually it'll move to B and then I. And even to flash forward to today, like I actually still take on contract work. It funds this YouTube channel. I'm trying to build higher leverage stuff like my affiliate business and just racking up recurring commissions on that. It doesn't have to be this or that. It can be and you can have both things going on too. Which leads me to the next point about predictable income and being a business. Your income will actually fluctuate, and that's completely okay and normal, and does not mean that you're a crappy business owner. So I think something I wish someone told me like from the beginning, if you want stability, keep your day job. Seriously. I remember like when I was in pharmacy and I told someone I want to start my own business, and they're like, grass is always greener. And I didn't believe them because I was like, dude, this pharmacy job sucks. And it does kind of suck, not gonna lie, but it comes with its own problems, right? And so for me, I've actually had like $0 months or negative months, and I've had 30K months. And so the important thing is like, it's easy to get caught up on thinking like, oh man, I made nothing today. But the thing you want to monitor is your floor, your baseline, and that goes up over time, but it's not a linear thing. And it goes back to that quote I talked about, like all profits derive from risk by Peter Drucker. It's like we inherently take on more risk when we start a business, right? And so we can hedge our risk by having contracts and then building our business on the side and then eventually investing where our investments take care of our lifestyle. And so if I were to go back in time, how I would handle this kind of like risk, right, of fluctuation is not to get caught up in the day-to-day. It's kind of like day trading or investing, like long-term investing in index funds. Like you don't want to look at the daily fluctuations, you want to look at the long-term gains. So something I would really get used to is just lowering your expenses. This does not mean lowering your lifestyle. I'll talk more about this later, but it means lowering your expenses. Because the thing is, like a lot of people inflate their lifestyle. I see a lot of these like new high-ticket salespeople people who are like 18 years old buy Lambos and stuff, and they think that this money of 100K can last forever. Could it last forever? It could last for a long time, but I guarantee there will be a fluctuation at some point in their business. Offers come and go, things happen, right? And certain business models have more risks than others, by the way. But speaking about those like 18-year-old kids who make fast money, let's talk about the next important thing. Stop watching how to make money quick videos online. I'm talking about the TikToks, the Instagrams, the short form content that is continuously promoting like this is get rich quick. I'm not saying that you can't make money fast. It does happen, but it's kind of like dating, right? The more you fascinate on like trying to impress a girl, the more less attractive you'll become. And I think money is kind of the same way, especially in a realm like high ticket sales or like in general, right? If you look at people like Ali Abdaal or Vanessa Lau or Hormozi, they all have this long-term vision on like personal development, getting skills, getting better every single day. And those are people that do really, really well. Rarely do you hear the person that is just chasing money all the time do well in the long term. Maybe they'll do super well in the short term, but in the long term, they don't do that well. And it leads me to think like, this is a hot take, but I think honestly, get rich businesses, the business YouTube is like mental masturbation. Rarely is that content ever helpful other than like motivation or inspiration, what is possible. And it dilutes you into this kind of thinking. It's like getting really good fast. I'm not saying it's like getting good at like BJJ fast, right? Like the best players like Joseph Chen and stuff who got good fast, they don't focus on getting good fast. They focus on the fundamentals of learning faster, of the actual doing of the process, right? And I think sometimes like as a newbie, like you get so addicted to watching these videos that we forget we can't become like a pilot watching YouTube videos on like pilot simulator. You can't read a surgery medical textbook and be expected to become a surgeon. You can't become a UFC fighter or UFC champ by watching UFC champion fights. It just does not work that way. And so I think instead of focusing so much on the money, which is an output like metric that you can't control, what we need to do is focus on getting more iterations and on the doing to get our skills better and better over time. And so what does this look like in practice? In my mind of how to actually progress, it's like picking one skill. For me, I'm biased toward marketing and sales. It could be copywriting, could be whatever, right? And then apply it immediately like that week. So let's say if I want to learn copywriting, okay, maybe I'll get a contract of being a junior copywriter. I'll get paid for that and take these concepts. I only watch YouTube or take a course when I need it, do it, fail, learn, adjust, repeat, right? And it's these iterations where people get better. It's not just like a course or just watching things online. We have to realize that wisdom really comes from applied knowledge, not just courses and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, getting punched in the face really sucks during this time. It's not so much fun, especially the failing part. And this is another thing that you need to know about. Don't measure your progress with revenue. So what we need to remember is that something like revenue is an output, not an input, right? Like you can't control outputs, right? Like I can't control like how much weight I lose, but I can control what goes into my mouth, the foods I'm eating, all that sort of stuff. And I think a lot of times, like when we're coming from the 9-to-5 world into the world of entrepreneurship, it's easy to conflate our self-worth into this type of thing. We think about how much are other people making and all that sort of stuff, but these are the wrong measuring sticks to, especially in business, where, you know, it's the inner work, it's the personal development, the habits we build that really lead to our output in the long term. If you watch Hormozi or Layla Hormozi, they always talk about this, and there's a mindset game to this as well. And so I want to give you a real example. My friend, he actually built a marketing agency. He has a lot of clients on retainer who just pay him and everything's on autopilot. He also has 30K per month like consulting contracts. Sometimes he like falls into these cycles where he feels like a failure because he's not like stable or making more money than his previous consulting life. I noticed like sometimes he says like, oh yeah, I'm just not making as much as I did with consulting. But something he doesn't realize is that he has way better relationships. He has way more skills. If he lost everything, he could rebuild everything without getting a job again. And he has a whole passive income system that is working for him already. And as I was looking at my friend, I was like, dude, I'm the same way, man. Like, it's like with me and YouTube, I could start a new YouTube channel all over again and get it running. And that's what I'm doing right now. Like, I really do not take from any pharmacy corporations or anything like that. I can hire, I can do sales, I know thumbnail design. I've built up all these skills. I can write copy, right? And so we have to redefine what actual success looks like, because we need a shift from defining the terms of success of revenue to defining it by the skills and relationships that we make in the long term. So being grateful for the relationships that we have, like I have relationships with top YouTubers, the skills I developed, so things like copywriting, sales, marketing, all these different things that no one can take away from me in the long term. Learning how to use AI, the value you create, like you created for people, so like testimonials and the projects you've been on, the experience. And I think this one is so slept on, but it's actually resiliency, like lowering the emotional intensity of like high stakes situations. So for example, if I lost all my revenue today, it would really suck, but I wouldn't be like, oh my god, sucks, like blah blah blah. I wouldn't beat myself up. I've been through the reps where I know what to do when I'm in this situation. It's like doing a sales call today is very different when I did a sales call when I first started in the industry. I don't feel all this like, oh my god, this is so like hard and stuff like that. It's like whatever, right? It's just a normal part of doing business. Speaking about losing everything, there's one more thing that I kind of wish I knew that I think is the probably most important thing, is realizing that geographic arbitrage is a new cheat code. Living abroad is a new cheat code. So remember what I said, like your expenses don't have to match your old lifestyle. Here is the thing that changed everything for me, was going to Asia. And you hear about people talking about the lifestyle differences in Asia versus America or South America and Asia, but this is the kind of the thinking that changed everything for me. So like Tim Ferriss, he always talked about it in the 4-Hour Work Week, but honestly, you want to optimize for buying power. So 3K in LA versus 3K in Saigon feel so different. 3K in LA, you basically feel homeless. Like maybe like your rent is $2,000, $2,500, and in Asia, like, you know, even an Airbnb right in the heart of Saigon, like it cost me about $500 per month, which is considered really expensive out here. Food, for example, like it's easy to rack up like $50 if you don't do groceries. If you eat out all the time, it's really easy to rack up like 20, 30, 40, $50 a day on food. But even when I do meal prep here, my food barely breaks $10 per day, and that's going kind of bougie out here, and that's healthy meals. My transport, I have in the States, I have to pay for a car, insurance, and because of the crazy drivers in LA, I have to pay a lot, right? And then on top of that, I had to pay California gas prices, which was insane. But here in Saigon, my cost is like maybe $225 per month. And I'm a Grab princess. I'm a rideshare princess. I do not drive whatsoever. I don't have to pay for insurance or anything like that. And that's doing like a car. I'm not even doing bike. I could slash that in half if I really wanted to as well. And even something as simple as pho, right? Like it costs $1 to $2 here in Vietnam, but then in the US it costs over $20. And even massages, which I love, it costs me $10 to $20 for like a 2-hour 90-minute massage, versus back home for a 60-minute massage it'll cost me $100 for like a nice Thai massage. My point is, my lifestyle costs are only 10x less, and even if I make 5 times as less as I did before, I'm still living a 6-figure lifestyle out here. And factor in, like, I don't have to deal with passive aggressive corporate boss, right? Which I still hope he rots in hell. I don't have to commute. I don't have 12-hour shifts dealing with people I hate or stupid problems I don't have to deal with. What I learned through this experience was that reducing your expenses is not the same as reducing your lifestyle. And even if you kind of like, you're like, hey Kevin, I don't think I want to move to Asia or move somewhere new, don't do it then. What I'm asking you to do is like ask yourself, like, what would a test trial look like? Like for some, that means taking a month sabbatical and just testing it out. You don't have to do Asia. You can do Eastern Europe. You can do South America. There's so many different places, but I really encourage you, if you are running a business and you decide to go full time, just try going somewhere new and just seeing what it's like. And believe me, the habits and all that sort of stuff will stack up. I literally just like go to a gym, eat meal prep, and then shoot videos and stuff and work. And it's made my life so much easier, so much more stress-free. I just want to stay here and just like lean down and get shredded, man, as I'm out here. So yeah, just take a sabbatical and give it a try. Finally, I'm not gonna lie to you and say, hey, this is easy. Starting a business has probably been one of the most, I don't want to say stressful parts of my life, but also one of the most painful parts of my life, because there was months where I made negative money, or I made $300 total, or I had $0 months consecutively because I had no clients. There were a lot of months where I just questioned everything. But when I look at the alternative of being stuck in a career, feeling trapped, hating it every single day, being in a career that slowly killed my soul, this probably was an option, because honestly, the level of cortisol, the level of stress, the level of resentment I would have myself, it would eventually kill me. And so if you are thinking about this path, just start off small, pick one skill, apply immediately, and maybe consider where you want to do it from. Anyways, what's one thing that hit different for you in this video? Drop it in the comments. And if you want a full breakdown of how I actually structure my life and business life, check out this video where I break down my whole entire system. Here's another video that the YouTube algo will think you'll like. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace, my people. Bye.